Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by the Blockchain Real Estate Summit. If you're interested in the intersection of real estate, blockchain technology, AI, and more, you've come to the right place. Don't miss your opportunity to attend the Blockchain Real Estate Summit 2024, happening this September 24th through 26th, online for our worldwide audience. Get your tickets at blockchainrealestatesummit.com/registration. Enjoy the show.
There it is. All right. Hello and welcome to another Chicago Blockchain Real Estate Collective meetup. I'm your host, Adam Carswell, joined as always by my fantastic co-host, Michael Flight, CEO of libertyfund.io. Michael, how are you? Once again, how you doing? And as always, any updates for Liberty Fund?
Well, I am doing fantastic. I'm down here in Miami. I'm speaking on Saturday at the Multifamily Investor Network Conference. Really just a fantastic conference. I've been to a number of them. This is the first time they're doing it in Miami, but I had to stop off and meet with your buddy Jimbo from Cardone Enterprises, Jim Morales. And he showed me around Grant Cardone's place, and I actually got to meet Grant Cardone and talk to him a little bit about our blockchain real estate report. So I'm going to shoot some pictures out, with me and Grant, and then we are going to have a further call with Grant, talk to him a little bit about how, he just raised $600 million. They just hit $600 million today. And I said, if you, want to put that in security tokens, I think you'll go for $1 billion really easily in the next year. So
cool. I know you and I we haven't had a chance to connect since you've gotten down there, and that's really exciting to hear. Is it pretty hot in Miami right now?
It's very hot. It's very hot. But I would like to talk about a hotter concept, which is Aaron Lohmann in Earn.re, because he's on here. He is a guy, and the reason why I was on some sort of a webinar, I can't remember what it was, and the gentleman who was running it at the end said, and this has got to be a winner for the furthest call-in participant in one of our webinars, and Aaron is in Bucharest, Romania. So I just reached out right away to Aaron and mentioned, number one, I want to learn more about Earn.re, and number two, here's a few restaurant recommendations. And this guy's an old pro. He said, I was just at, what was the Kunai?
Kunai, I think, is the Thai restaurant that you had recommended. One of my favorites,
yeah.
Definitely.
And you said, I was just there for lunch. So I was jealous of him.
It's a small world. Well, thank you both for having me today. I'm really excited to talk to you and your audience about Earn and what we've been working on, and show you how we're trying to impact the commercial real estate market with this new technology.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, Aaron. I really, Michael's hyped you up a lot coming into today, and I think the Romanian background piqued my interest as well, because I know Michael and I, we always like to talk about Romania here as well. Guys, if you're with us, by the way, if you're with us on Facebook, again, drop us a link, or we're dropping a link in the comments for you to join us here. If you want to hang out and stay on Facebook, you can always just drop a hashtag blockchain in there and let us know you're with us. And here we go. Aaron Lohmann has over 15 years, ladies and gentlemen, of experience in real estate development and finance. As an experienced entrepreneur, he has founded several successful real estate and technology related companies. And Aaron currently serves as the CEO of Earn.re, a technology company he founded in 2019, focused on the digitalization of asset-backed securities and loans. Here we go. I know he's got a great presentation for us today, guys. So give it up digitally for Aaron Lohmann.
Thank you, guys. Let me share my screen here. I've prepared a bit of a presentation for the group today to give you an overview on Earn. So let me know once that comes up.
Coming through.
Okay, maximize the screen here. All right. So as Adam mentioned, my name is Aaron Lohmann. I'm the founder of Earn.re. I have spent most of my career as a real estate developer in the Western United States. I've developed multifamily housing development, some single family housing subdivisions, and I've worked on several other projects that are educational related as well as publicly financed. So over the course of that time, I became very familiar with the capital stack and what was required to finance real estate projects, as well as some of the challenges that are inherent in the process, not only for developers like myself, but also for the capital providers that are looking to allocate capital toward these types of projects. With a bit of a background in computer science, I had been paying close attention to the advancements in blockchain and distributed ledger technologies, specifically smart contracts, and felt that there could be some real synergies had between coupling real estate finance and the blockchain and this new technology that was starting to emerge. So we started to develop our system, as you had mentioned, Adam, earlier in 2019, where we built out the platform as it exists today. And then in 2020, we entered the market and started offering this service to large and medium-sized issuers and sponsors in the commercial real estate space as a tool to help them digitize their efforts and digitize the subscription process, as well as track the resulting cap tables and have much more control over the communications and information that was disseminated out to the investor class in these individual issuances. So what today's presentation is going to do is give you a bit of an overview of the system and the value that it's bringing to its users, as well as how we're approaching the market and the problems that we're trying to solve with this new technology. So, getting started, some of the problems that exist with the current system when it comes to financing real estate are shown here on the screen. Real estate investing, real estate finance is typically known to be a fairly slow process that involves a lot of intermediaries. We find that on a typical commercial real estate issuance, the amount of money spent by a developer or a sponsor bringing that issuance to market, whether it's spending money with their attorneys, legal counsel, intermediaries for capitalization, can range anywhere from 2% up to 5%. Meaning that there's a lot of money that's wasted on the front end of these deals, just capitalizing the project. Also, one of the problems with real estate finance as it exists today is that it's a fairly opaque transaction. Typically, it's a very large dollar amount, privately financed, with very little information following the initial financing, which leads to illiquidity. And according to PIMCO, our research indicates that illiquidity discounts that are attributed to deals by commercial real estate investors can range anywhere from 11.5% to 33%, which can also be incredibly costly for the developer on the front end of the deals when bringing financing to the table. A lot of redundancy exists in capitalization of these projects, as well as a lot of liability. When it comes to issuing securities or originating loans, if the data isn't accurate, if the information shared between the parties isn't accurate, it could lead to disputes. And according to the Financial Times, US mortgage disputes annually result in more than $1 billion worth of litigation costs here in the US. So there's a lot of liability associated with keeping accurate records and making sure that those records are shared transparently amongst all parties involved in these transactions. So what Earn is and what we've developed is essentially an enterprise software platform that allows for highly customizable digital workflows pertaining to these issuances and originations. And we're utilizing the blockchain on the back end to provide for authenticity and really certify the contents and the communications that are had between the issuer and the investors in each round. For compliance, we have an affiliate broker-dealer in New York named Tangent Capital Partners that handles all the securitization of the offerings on the platform. We're working with Wilmington Trust, a division of M&T Bank, that will essentially be acting as the paying agent and handling all of the fiat currency that is transacted with on our platform. We aren't using cryptocurrencies at all in the Earn platform, but essentially just digitizing real estate-backed securities and tokenizing those securities, but utilizing fiat currency for all distributions as well as the primary financing. We have a SEC registered transfer agent in the Earn family of companies, Earn Transfer, that will keep track of the cap tables and manage any transfer requests on behalf of shareholders in the system. And we've established a strategic partnership with T0 that will allow for any of the issuers on the Earn system to list these securities on a robust secondary market if secondary market trading is desired by the issuer. So that is available, and it's a fairly seamless interaction with T0 through our platform. The value proposition that we're bringing to the table by digitizing these securities and utilizing the blockchain as that single source of truth is essentially to provide for legitimacy in terms of that communication and a very clear track record in terms of all of the communications and information that's disseminated out to the investors. So what the blockchain does provide for is exactly that, a single source of truth through the Earn system, where all of the proposed budgets, waterfalls, forecasts, securities documents are loaded into the system and cryptographically hashed and stored to the blockchain to ensure that that information can't be altered or manipulated in any way, which should provide for quite a bit of efficiency and risk mitigation on the back end for the issuer, as well as the investors that are allocating capital toward the deal. Also, by digitizing these processes and automating many of these processes, natural disintermediation occurs, where many of the intermediaries that typically play a role in these types of transactions that are costing quite a bit of money on the front end of the transactions can be eliminated because of the efficiencies that are found in the software and in the customizable workflows that are enabled through the system when issuing the securities and loans. Redundancy is eliminated in that the information housed in the Earn system and stored to the blockchain is that source of truth, that true source of information serving as a repository for all stakeholders in the transaction. Accuracy is ensured with those customizable workflows and with the smart contracts governing how these documents are actually executed and when these documents are executed to ensure that everybody is on the same page and every step is being followed along the way as these securities are issued. As we mentioned before, with our integration with T0 and our affiliation with them, here in the US, we can enhance liquidity by offering connection to that secondary market so that after the lockout period on any of these securities issuances, these digital tokens can trade in an open market, creating enhanced security for investors that typically doesn't exist in real estate transactions. And then risk is greatly reduced by having a clear track record of all of the communications, documents, and information that was shared with that investor class. There's many scenarios where our clients have run into situations where maybe a document doesn't get signed or a certain party isn't sent final documents. And then when a disagreement arises, it could lead to potential liability for the stakeholders that are involved.
Aaron, can you just talk a little bit about the trading on T0? That's going to be with both loans and equity?
At this point, we will digitize loans and equity. T0 is only accepting equity on their platform at this point for secondary trading. However, they have indicated that here within the next year, debt will also be allowed on the platform.
Very cool.
For secondary trading.
Very cool. And do you think those would trade like a CMBS, or do you think it'd be a little less fluid than the CMBS?
I think potentially they could trade like a CMBS. Now, You could, with the Earn platform today, structure an indenture, which is essentially an equity issuance, but backed by a mortgage, providing the security for the investors. And I believe that that indenture, as essentially an equity security, could potentially be listed on the T0 platform, but just a straight mortgage note, which we can digitize with Earn, wouldn't be allowed on the secondary market at this point.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for the question. So a quick overview of the Earn system and some of the key components of the system as it functions today. At its core is this cryptographically authenticated data room. And what we mean by that, it's what you would expect a data room to be, essentially a repository for information pertaining to the issuance. But we do launch a smart contract that governs the workflow around that data room and guides the user through the process of subscribing, as well as providing critical information for that subscription process. Also, with that smart contract and the involvement of the blockchain in the data room, we are creating those cryptographic hashes of all of the information and documents that are loaded to ensure authenticity and consistency, not only for the investors on the primary round, but also when they go to sell their position or transfer their position down the road. It's very simple for that next investor to conduct due diligence and understand exactly what's happened in the transaction from inception all the way up to the current date. So we feel that that's a very critical component in providing for this liquidity and addressing those illiquidity discounts that exist. You can, as we've mentioned, originate digital securities and loans on the platform. We've built tools into the platform to automate KYC and AML data collection on behalf of these issuers when dealing with investors. Automatically distributions and servicing are included. So the smart contracts that we launch behind these tokens will handle money movement. So when profits are generated from a particular opportunity, the issuer would simply report to the system what the profits for that period were that were to be distributed to the LP class. And our system, based on the status of that cap table, will automatically break out that distribution and instruct our payment agent partner, Wilmington Trust, on where to send those funds to. So as an issuer, you're only having one draft of the bank account per distribution event, and then our system will automatically fractionalize that distribution and electronically send the funds through Wilmington Trust out to the investors on a regular basis. With the blockchain at its core, the cap table is automatically managed through our system. LP consensus and voting can be handled through the system as well. So if there's ever a vote that needs to be cast by the limited partner class, an issuer can go ahead and issue that vote out to the class. And with their cryptographic wallet ID, the LPs can vote on any vote that might be presented. And it's very simple to collect their opinion on each matter and represent that clearly out to the rest of the investors.
And Aaron, when they do that, is that pushed out through the smart contract and into their wallet, or?
It is. It's pushed out through that cryptographically authenticated data room. They're notified electronically via email, but also through the platform. And then they'll have a window of time to either vote yes or no on an issue, and they can investigate the details of that vote through the system as well. So documents can be loaded that would support the reason behind the vote and why the issuer is requesting that. So once they do vote, they're voting with the wallet that holds the security tokens, and those votes are logged on the blockchain as well and transparent for everyone in the class to understand what was decided. If the results of the vote require a reprogramming of any of the smart contracts or the performance of the instrument down the road, that would take effect after that vote result was in and calculated.
And I don't want to bring it too far afield, but a lot of people in real estate don't know what a wallet is. So can you explain, that way of holding, the assets?
Yeah. It's fairly simple. It's a random string of characters on the blockchain that belongs exclusively to you as the investor, where your security tokens are assigned to. So it essentially is your account number on the blockchain that allows you to hold your security tokens in that account. And so in this case of voting, you can vote with that account number. And on the Earn system, you can have unlimited wallets or unlimited accounts. So if you're invested in 20 different opportunities and you wanted to hold each individual opportunity in a unique account, you can do that, or a unique wallet ID.
And are those wallets issued by Earn, or if I had like a MetaMask or a Exodus wallet, could I use those as well?
Great question. You can actually use both. So we built the system to where if you're using a MetaMask wallet or any other third-party wallet of your choice, you can utilize that with the Earn system. But if you're not that familiar with wallets, you don't have a MetaMask, it's as simply as just clicking a button to generate a new wallet using the Earn system and hold your securities that way.
Oh, that's really great, because a lot of resistance and issues that we've had with prospective investors is the deal looks great. I love the tradability part of it. How do I figure out this wallet thing?
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, typical real estate investors are not blockchain savvy, and we're trying to make it very simple for them to have more control over their investing activities. And so by being able to easily create a wallet or an account number on the Earn system to hold their securities makes that so much simpler. Now, keep in mind with the Earn system, it is an enterprise application. So the risk of losing your wallet and losing your tokens, like we've all heard about with Bitcoin or some of the cryptocurrencies, doesn't exist with Earn. If something were to happen where you lost your account number, you lost your wallet, your private key, or a number of other things might happen to your securities, you can come to us with that report, and with the proper documentation, we can reset the account to the proper status.
And you just brought up a really good point, and I'm trying not to sidetrack you, but with security tokens, unlike cryptocurrency, if there is a legitimate, somebody stole the security tokens, they lost access to them or something, as long as they, identify themselves properly and everything, you can just burn new ones and reissue them, correct?
That's correct. Yes, we can just reissue them, just like you would experience with a typical transfer agent relationship. If you lost a certificate or you didn't have proof of your ownership in an investment that you had made, you can contact the transfer agent, and with the proper documentation, they can make you whole again. Same thing with Earn. It's just all digital, and we're utilizing the blockchain as the book, but you can contact us with proper documentation. We can make it right. So in addition to LP consensus management, we've also built tools for automated funds control for a new construction type project that would ensure that investor funds were safeguarded and released appropriately throughout the construction term, utilizing the blockchain. And we also have automated transfer capabilities within the system, which for many of the larger issuers is a tremendous advantage. If there are any life-changing events from an investor, there's a divorce, there's a death, someone wants to make a transfer to someone within their private network, it can easily be automated through the Earn system by requesting the transfer to the issuer. Once the issuer approves it, we can move the security tokens from the original owner's wallet to the new transferee's wallet very simply and in a very streamlined way. And then for our enterprise users, we do have a very robust API infrastructure that will allow for all of these capabilities on the blockchain to be integrated into their existing systems. So they're not sending their stakeholders back and forth from their system to the Earn system. It can be much more streamlined through the API integration.
Aaron, can you just define what an API is?
Yeah, an API, and we'll speak about it a bit more in the presentation, but it's an automated programming interface. And so behind the scenes, it would allow for the Earn system, the core system, to communicate with an existing system that an issuer might utilize, that they've already established, that their investors are used to going into for information and reports. And so they could easily integrate the blockchain and our capacities for digitizing these securities and loans into their existing software infrastructure.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. We recommend utilizing a private blockchain for these financial instruments. However, we are big fans of the Ethereum blockchain because of the robust nature of the smart contracts that can be created on Ethereum. But if we do have a user who wants to utilize a different blockchain, we can certainly create smart contracts on other blockchains as well. But our preferred configuration for a private version of Ethereum is a hosted version of the Ethereum software on Quorum infrastructure. And then our user interface is also hosted by Amazon Web Servers to create a secure environment for all of our users. To create permanence with the hashes that we're publishing from the data room, we're also publishing those hashes onto the Ethereum mainnet, the public blockchain. But most of the information, documents, transactions are going to be logged in the Ethereum private blockchain on Quorum.
Quorum was developed by JP Morgan, or one of the big banks, right?
It really was, yeah. It was developed by JP Morgan originally, and I believe is part of Consensus now.
Yeah, I think they sold it.
Previously, Microsoft Azure was offering the hosting capabilities for private version of Ethereum, but Azure has been recommending migration over to Quorum as well. So they really are the preferred infrastructure for a private version of Ethereum. This is an explanation of the API. So the application programming interface, it allows for outside third-party developers to integrate with Earn to pull data from the Earn system and provide other applications that would enhance the system. Partners, our clients, will be able to integrate on a deeper level, allowing for their existing software infrastructure to access Earn's capacity. And then we have internal APIs where if we're bringing out a new feature or new module of functionality within Earn, we can connect that pretty quickly and efficiently through the API infrastructure that we've developed. So essentially how it works is we're taking the normal processes involved in lending or in issuing equity-based securities in real estate and digitizing those activities through the Earn platform by creating smart contracts on the blockchain and fractionalizing the ownership of those underlying documents in the form of tokens, and issuing a token as opposed to a paper certificate or a typical certificate that would be issued to a privately financed investor. So the way that the mechanics of the system work is essentially a financier or capital provider would be able to come into the Earn system, conduct due diligence through that data room, subscribe electronically through that data room and complete their subscription agreement, and then wire funds off to the developer's escrow account at Wilmington Trust. At the closing, once all the funds had been aggregated in escrow and there was a closing, a successful closing on the project, digital tokens would be issued to those investors that recognize their ownership in the opportunity as limited partners, and the funds would be released from escrow to the sponsor or issuer. Typically in a real estate scenario, those funds would be released to title, and then title would distribute the funds accordingly. And then the funds would be used in the project. And once the project went live, then periodic reporting would be required of the issuer back into the Earn system to report performance of the project. And then those monies that were resulting from the project's performance would be drafted and sent out automatically to the token holders. So by holding the security tokens in your wallet, it entitles you to the monthly income or quarterly income that is generated from those opportunities that are invested in. The system essentially at a high level works in a way where our users, our core users or clients at Earn are the issuers of these securities. And they're utilizing our system to host this data room, to digitize that subscription process. And then the blockchain works essentially as a custodian of these issuances and securities for their life cycle, keeping track of all of the transactions and keeping track of who is in the cap table and how they want to be paid. And so it's a very streamlined process for the issuer in that periodic distribution is drafted from their account once, and our system will fractionalize those distributions, record them in a very clear and auditable way, and allow for automated streamlined transfer of any investor's holding or potentially that secondary market trade and transactions through an exchange like T0. So that essentially is the presentation that I put together today. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have or that the audience might have as well.
Sure thing. And yeah, guys, feel free to break open that chat box, that Q&A, drop any questions you have for Aaron here as we make our way through the Q&A session of today's presentation. And I got to ask Aaron, I mean, as far as where you guys are at right now, are you able to kind of talk about some of the clients that you're looking forward to working with or currently working with that you're very optimistic about? Can we kind of dive into that at all?
Yeah, much to our surprise, when we first developed the system, we were thinking that it would appeal greatly to developers like myself that were regional developers on the smaller side that were looking for efficiencies and cost savings when going to market. What we found, though, when we went to market is that the message that we were bringing resonated very, very well with enterprise users and larger issuers of these types of securities. So one of the first groups that adopted our platform and has implemented it into their existing infrastructure is Walker Dunlop. And Walker Dunlop is a fairly large organization focused on commercial real estate financing here in the US. And the division of the company that initially has adopted the Earn system is their equity division, Walker Dunlop Investment Partners out of Denver, where they're looking to digitize their activities in equity issuances. They've come up with some unique strategies around sidecar investing, utilizing the platform, and them acting as essentially underwriter and investment manager in particular projects. So we're really happy to have them on board. And we've been talking to other groups and are actively involved in talking to other groups of similar size that are also focused on the commercial real estate industry, both from a lending perspective as well as from an equity investment perspective. But in addition to these larger groups, we're working with small to medium-sized regional developers, sponsors, and lenders that are looking to gain efficiencies and have a broader access to potential investors by utilizing this platform.
Awesome. And one question we did have, it looks like it came through here anonymously, but in general, where are you finding most of the investors that you're working with?
So we are not a marketplace. You shouldn't think of Earn as a crowdfunding platform built on the blockchain. What we are is we're a platform that allows for issuers to digitize their offering, to tokenize their offering, and to maintain that cap table in a much more efficient manner than currently exists. That being said, we have formed alliances with aggregators of investors. So one early alliance that we were able to put together was with a group called Alto IRA. Alto IRA is a self-directed IRA platform headquartered in New York City that is very forward-thinking and has developed technology that would enable their investors to invest in blockchain-backed securities and assets through their retirement accounts in a tax-free basis. And we've built an affiliation with them that would allow for their investors in a very streamlined way to subscribe to an offering on Earn using their IRA account. With a few clicks of the button, they can create a wallet that's managed by the IRA custodian, but allows for them to allocate their funds directly to these opportunities and enjoy tax-free investing and returns through that structure. So we're constantly working at improving that investor network, but it would be through strategic alliances like the one with Alto IRA.
And you said you've also got relationships with broker dealers, and of course you've got the relationship with T0.
Absolutely, yeah, great point. So if you did securitize your issuance through Earn, we make it very, very efficient for you to do that through a broker dealer, through Tangent Capital Partners. And then once that broker dealer is on board, you can easily bring on third-party placement agents, which we can introduce you to as well, that are FINRA registered, and they would be able to help you place your offerings throughout their network also. With the tools that we've developed, you can actually track the performance of those third-party placement agents right through the Earn platform. So if you have more than one, you can give each of them a unique link into the platform, and then they can share that with their investor community. And much like affiliate marketing, you can track their performance and their success rate in placing your round, and then compensate them appropriately at the closing.
So you could potentially be, the way your platform is set up, have different broker dealers in different regions of the country that might specialize in certain things, and each one of them has their own unique link into the portal, so that basically they get credit for raising the money, and you can keep track of all that.
That's correct. So we're really focused on the technology and the tools that enable these very streamlined issuances and offerings. And by keeping in line with all of the regulations and securitizing it properly, you can bring in many different placement agents to help you with the investors.
And I've got a follow-up. Do the broker dealers have to have a special license to deal with digital assets, or can anybody do it?
Great question. This is seen by the regulators as a typical private placement. So in most cases, you would file an exemption under Reg D for a real estate issuance, and we would recommend a 506C, which would allow you to publicly advertise your issuance, put the link on your website, put it out on social media, and allow for your other placement agents to do the same thing. But it's really just viewed as a private placement. And these are securities issued under a book entry form. So the blockchain is essentially serving as the book and that master security holder file or a cap table. And we at Earn are helping to manage that on behalf of the issuer.
And a cap table is just basically a tracking of everybody that owns a piece of that security. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's just a table that essentially records who owns what piece of that security.
Okay. And then
are you guys,
your blockchain technology, then, if they do trade, will track that too, and track with the new owner, correct?
Absolutely. That's one of the advantages. So when a transfer does happen on the system, it automatically updates that cap table. We're collecting the banking information of that new investor, so we know exactly where they want their funds sent. So for you as an issuer, it's really pain-free. It sort of manages itself. And when that draft of distributions goes out of your account the next month, it's automatically handled, and those distributions are sent to the appropriate parties.
Okay.
And being in this space where blockchain and real estate overlap, I feel like there's an overwhelming amount of FAQs that kind of go beyond traditional real estate investing. And so How are you guys handling FAQs? Like from an educational perspective, are you guys a platform where individuals can go for resources, or I guess what are you doing to educate your clients and the people around you?
So we're trying to, and we're working on it all the time. It's a great question. I mean, it's difficult to articulate this new technology to everybody all at once, but it is something that we are working on. And so right now we do work closely with the investor relations teams on our clients' side of things to help them communicate the benefits of actually being issued a digital token as opposed to just a paper certificate, and the enhanced control that an investor actually will have by having this digital token, being able to initiate transfers, being able to access historical information in the offering at any point 24/7 through the platform. It gives investors quite a bit more advantage than just the typical way of being given a paper certificate and waiting for your distribution check to arrive.
And Michael, I'm sure you can relate in some regards with some of those blockchain real estate FAQs. What's with Liberty? What's something that you feel like is just the question that we always get, the hurdle that we got to overcome more than any other one? What is it?
The biggest one is it cryptocurrency?
Correct.
And the other bigger one, which I'm sure is Earn part of Bitcoin? Because
Right.
does it run? Because most people only conceive when they hear the words blockchain as the Bitcoin blockchain, and they don't really realize that there's other exceptional networks out there, that the value is in the network, because the network, which is the blockchain, can transfer value. So, and that's one of the reasons why we are putting together September 9th and 10th, the Blockchain Real Estate Summit in Austin, Texas, and have some great guests coming around that are really educational, like Aaron, or have actually done it. So we've got Stefan Debates from Aspen Coin, and he's going to explain how Aspen Coin went from the first security token to being traded on T0. And we've got some great real estate investors, including Robert Helms from the Real Estate Guys, Jamie Finn from Securities. So we're going to try to bring together and bridge the gap, and we'd like to be educational for real estate people so that they learn about the technology and how it works. And this is exactly, what Aaron has been talking about. It's just been golden as to, sometimes it's, it makes your head spin, but after a while, it's like, this really is going to make things much cheaper, faster, better, and create more access for investors to invest in private real estate.
Did you give Aaron the heads up to bring his Romanian party hat?
I actually have one. A black wool Romanian hat.
Yeah. There we go. And we're going to start winding it down here too. And Michael, I'm sure maybe you got at least one more question for Aaron. And guys, don't be shy in the chat, in the comments, Q&A, either way, punch it through Facebook as well. We'll take a look here in a second. But yeah, Aaron, you guys are you're pioneers doing some very impressive things. This presentation was great. In your opinion right now, who are you guys looking to do business with that could, potentially double where Earn is at within, say, the next few months? Like, what would be like the slam dunk connection for you guys?
Sure. So we're always looking to establish new relationships with experienced sponsors throughout the country. We're looking to establish relationships with private lenders and lenders that are working off of warehouse facilities and lines that are looking to quickly replenish that capital and have a really clear-cut disposition strategy utilizing our platform. And then we're looking to expand internationally as well. So we have significant progress in place in regions like Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia. throughout that Southeast Asia region for starting operations later this year as Earn in that region of the world as well.
Awesome. Michael, any follow-up on that for Aaron?
No, I'm just very excited about, what Aaron is doing and, the stuff behind it and how it's really, again, it's going to improve the investor experience. And so, Aaron, how could people get in touch with you to, learn more about Earn and determine if Earn is the right thing for them? And you're more than likely looking just to qualify for people that actually have assets now and you're not, as you said before, you're not a crowdfunding platform. So you're looking for, probably initially people that have assets, have done it, and have a track record, correct?
That's correct. We're really looking to work with experienced sponsors that have an established network of investors already in place and are just looking to gain efficiencies and scale their business as they grow. The best way to get in touch with me is probably through email. I respond to emails fairly quickly, and that address is very easy to remember. It's AL for Aaron Lohmann at Earn.re.
And
awesome.
So the company is headquartered in the Reunion Islands?
No, we creative play on a URL, so Earn.real estate, but we liked it. It was available.
Yeah, no, we Adam and I have a podcast on net lease properties, and we went and got triplenet.re. So,
oh, nice. Perfect.
That's right. We'll get that in there. Shameless plug, guys. Check out triplenet.re if you want to keep the real estate nerdiness going for you tonight or whenever you're joining us here on the replay. But so yeah, Aaron.
One more thing. If you're interested in getting tickets to the Blockchain Summit, it's blockchainrealestatesummit.com. That's blockchainrealestatesummit.com.
That's right. And I am just going to drop that here in our Facebook comments as well. So,
and it's also it's the conference center on the University of Texas at Austin. So it's going to be great.
Blockchainrealestatesummit.com, right, Michael?
Yes.
All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight, investing your most valuable resource with us, your time. Michael, I almost forgot. What's the best way for anyone to follow up and get in touch for questions about Liberty Fund?
They can email us at hello@libertyfund.io if they're interested in learning more about not only security tokens, but triple net leases and real estate in general. We've got a lot of great educational content up there because we try to be as educational as possible. But we also have the blockchain real estate report that they can actually go to the website and download. But go to libertyfund.io, and if you want that report, just hit the special report button, and we'll get that to you. And if you have any questions, email us. We'd be more than happy to get on the phone and talk to you and explain to you about how great this technology is and that this is the financial system of the future.
Well said. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today, tonight, depending on where you're at in the world. I know it would be today in Australia. We mentioned Australia and Hong Kong and Singapore earlier. Our next meetup is going to be in August. Wow. Michael, we've been doing this for what, like 18 or so months now? That's crazy.
And I got to tell you, we've got some quality guests like Aaron. I mean, we've just been privileged to get pioneers in the industry that, later on, you're going to say, oh, I met Aaron, when he was just, just into the start of it. Now look at him. He's like, worldwide and,
and that's, I mean, Aaron, you could probably agree with this. And Mike, I think Michael might have even been the one who kind of put this on my radar at first, but this goes for everyone here with us. Again, whether you're with us live or on the replay, just kind of being in this circle here now, educating yourself on crypto, blockchain in particular, security tokens. We are ahead of the game here. So educating yourself now 3 to 5 years from now, you can very well be considered an expert in, be someone who knows what you're talking about. So way to be here and way to be be with the future, I think is the word I'm looking for there.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. I really enjoyed speaking to you and your audience, and very grateful for the opportunity to do it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button wherever you're tuned in right now. Hit the like button. It really helps, again, with the overall SEO and visibility of the meetup. Helps us bring on more high quality guests, just like Aaron. Lots of information in the description and comments here as well today. So go check that out. And there we go. That's all we have. So thank you for joining us, and we will catch you in the next meetup.
Thank you for listening to the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, hosted by the Blockchain Real Estate Summit. Don't forget to sign up for the Blockchain Real Estate Summit 2024, happening this September 24th through 26th, online for our worldwide audience. Get your tickets at blockchainrealestatesummit.com/registration. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to follow the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback really helps increase the visibility of our show, allowing us to reach more listeners like you. If you have someone in mind you would like us to interview, you can go to blockchainrealestatesummit.com and leave a comment.
Adam Carswell, the voice of liberty. This podcast is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to provide tax, legal, investment, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, accounting, or investment advisors before engaging in any transaction or undertaking. Thank you for listening to the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, which is a part of the Blockchain Real Estate Summit Network. Go to blockchainrealestatesummit.com for more information, free reports, and giveaways with free stuff. Thank you.